in the hot seat today, we have King of Sports Media, Bob McCown. Bob, how are you? How is life?
About the same as yours. It's nice to see the top of your head today, Ada, as opposed to yesterday where you had it hid.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for being in the hot seat. As you know, we are raising money for animal shelters. And I want to thank our sponsor, CanadaLand.com, for their donation. Thank you, guys. And Bob, I don't know if you ever met Bella. Did you ever meet my Princess Bella?
You had one of them in your handbag one day when you came over. Is that the same one?
Yes, this is the same one. You can fit in your pocket. But you know what? She has small body but huge personality. So don't think she's just, this little cute, chihuahua. She's not. She's literally Pitbull trapped in Chihuahua's body.
All right.
Yes.
She's like her mother. Pitbull in a small body, right?
And me and Mango, we're just quiet girls. And she was taking a nap, and I woke her up. And Mango told me I know she does, but the groomers are closed, Ada, now, so we have to wait.
I know. Oh, well. So
okay, Bob. So let me tell you our rules. We have prepared 10 questions.
All right.
You're going to choose 6 random questions. Some of the questions are easy and some are not. And that's the fun part, at least for us and our viewers. Are you ready?
No, but let's go.
But Bob, you don't have to answer a question you don't want, but please remember, for every question answered, charity, especially animal shelter, will benefit. So keep that in mind. No pressure.
Okay.
Okay. Any question from 1 to 10?
I pick a number?
Yes, the number.
Okay, 7.
7. Okay. So we all enjoyed watching Raptors' journey to championship. What's your opinion on Kawhi's exit? Oh.
Well, look, any player who goes through and acquires free agency through the process should be allowed and is allowed to pursue whatever avenue he chooses. Kawhi clearly wanted to stay closer to home. He purchased a house in San Diego the year before. That didn't necessarily mean he was going to go to LA, but it probably gave us a fair indication. I know that he actually stayed at Drake's house in Los Angeles when he made the decision, and actually met with the LA Clippers while he was staying at Drake's house, which made Drake mad, of course, because he wanted him to come back to the Raptors. So, look, he's, as we all are, when our contracts end with whoever we're employed by, we have the right and the option to pursue other choices, and that's what he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you so much for answering the question.
Okay, can I go now?
No. $100 goes to animal shelter. Thank you so much. Choose another question, please. Another number, sorry.
4, please.
Yes. 4. That's an easy one, I think. Okay. Bob, I know that Muhammad Ali called into your show from time to time. Is there anything that you can tell us about the champ that we wouldn't know? Something juicy. We want to hear something different.
Wow, that's an interesting one. Look, I got to know Ali pretty well. We became very friendly. I met him in the early 70s, and I was a young pup and just starting out, and we became friends. I think what you need to know about him is what a big heart he has. And I know that isn't probably the kind of gossip that you were looking for or that other people might want to hear. But so I will tell you this story. I met him while I was working for a small radio station right at the very, very beginning of my career, the first year. And he came on about 8 hours' notice. He flew from Chicago, came to the dinner that we were hosting, and stayed afterwards. He was up, and we were up until 4 or 5 in the morning. At 9 in the next morning, he wanted to go. The charity was a kids' charity, and he wanted to go see the kids in the school that they were in. So I took him over there. At the end of that, I took him back to get into the limousine to drive back to Detroit, where he was going to catch a flight. And I handed him his check, which was a nominal amount in his world. And he turned it over, pulled out a pen, endorsed it, and gave it back to me and said, give it to the kids.
Oh, wow.
So that's a side of him that I think many people aren't aware of. He was extremely generous, extremely kind. He was braggadocious, larger than life, an extraordinary personality, but he had a big heart.
Beautiful.
That's a great story, Bob. Thank you for sharing. Amazing. Thank you. We make another $100. Amazing.
All right.
Okay. Choose another question.
Choose another question, Bob, please.
10.
10. Oh, okay, all right. Here we go. It's been 53 years since the Leafs won their last cup. Are there any missing pieces that prevents them to win now?
Yes, Keon, Mahovlich, Horton, Stanley, and all the other players that played for that team in 1967. But they are the ones that are missing today.
Oh,
look, yes.
Yeah, look, winning a Stanley Cup is not easy, but I think Toronto has waited long enough. I'm not sure that this group is good enough to win a cup, but we will see in due time.
Okay.
Hey.
Thank you. Great. Choose another question.
I'm forgetting the numbers I've missed. 1? Have I done 1?
No, you
haven't done it yet. Let me number 1. That's the interesting. This is more TMZ question. I can answer. Bob, please name 3 guests that we would not expect you had over for dinner in your house. Who was there? Someone interesting, different.
Well, that probably will be impossible for me to answer because I don't tend to associate with the people that I talk to on the air, at least not on an ultra personal level. Mm-hmm. Ada, how many times have you been to my house for dinner? And how many celebrities have you seen while you were there?
I understand, but could be any interesting business people. I know you do lots of businesses with different people. I know you have CK Subban there. Yes.
Oh yeah, Subban's been over. If I probably think long enough, I guess the issue is that there are some that I consider friends, and I don't think of them as celebrities, and so they're not jumping to mind. Of course, if anybody who's watched the show, I mean, they'd be familiar with Brian Cooper. He's here all the time. I can't get rid of him.
Okay. Same with me.
Yeah, well, you're kind of the same way, especially in the summertime when the wine is flowing in the backyard, and we're hopeful that we have another summer like that. Oh, God. I'm looking around my office to see if I can get any clues because I do have a few pictures here. No, you got me.
Could be business.
I'm sure it's a long list, and I'm sure you could probably come up with as many as I did if I gave you long enough, but I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's okay.
I wouldn't even have thought of, all right, Alan Frew, the lead singer from Glass Tiger.
Here you go.
So Frew is a pal of mine, and we had a party one night, and we had 150 people and a band in the basement.
Wow.
And Alan Frew sang. So, well, you've both been in my basement, as best I can recall, so you know it's pretty good size.
That sounds funny, though.
So there's 2. How am I doing?
Beautiful.
You get settled for 2?
Yes.
All right.
So, we good. Okay, another question. You're doing well. We're really raising lots of money.
Yes.
All right, 3.
Okay, number 3. Wow. Okay, Bob.
Angelika likes this one.
Yes, I do. What were some of your worst interviews?
Oh.
Well, this one would rank right up there.
We got it.
Well, because you're interviewing me. And there's nothing more boring to me than me. So I'm slightly bored by this, but nonetheless.
Any of your guests which, was tough to talk to. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you a little story in that regard. I don't know about boring, but I've had a few interviews that haven't ended well.
Okay.
I had the mayor of Hamilton on once, and I cannot recall why. But I got, in the middle of the conversation, I got madder than hell at him and hung up on him.
Why?
Right in the middle of the interview.
Okay.
And the same thing happened with a former friend of mine who I won't mention, but was a celebrity of sorts, a writer, an acknowledged and accomplished writer, a very, very good writer. And I had him on and I said something as a joke and he took it seriously and got mad at me. And actually, I think he hung up on me. So that wasn't a particularly good interview.
That's a good one.
And is there another one?
What, another question?
No, I'm trying to think of another interview.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I've talked to several of the prime ministers on the air. Mulroney was fun. No, I can't think of another one. You'll have to do with two.
I think we have few. That's good. That's good.
Perfect.
See, you're asking the wrong person the wrong questions. You're asking me about me. And I blank on myself.
No. We actually, we're asking you a question, but what we have in mind just who was really tough to talk to. Because I'm pretty sure sometimes it's so hard to get the answer from people. And it's like, oh my gosh, how I'm going to go through this interview. So that's kind of what we had in mind. But you know.
Well, okay, let me give you this one, because this didn't happen very often. When I was at Global and doing Sportsline, I wanted to do an interview with a fellow by the name of Woody Hayes, who you two ladies would not know. Woody Hayes was the longtime football coach at Ohio State, considered one of the great coaches in American history. But he also had a prickly personality. And I am from Columbus, Ohio, so I have been and always will be an Ohio State fan. And so Woody Hayes was somewhat iconic to me. And I don't remember the circumstances of how I got his number, but I got his phone number and got him on the phone. And I'll paraphrase, but I said, Coach Hayes, my name is Bob McCown. I'm in Toronto, Canada, and I do this show on global television. And I was hoping to get a couple of minutes of your time. And the next thing I heard the only thing I heard from Woody Hayes was F you and the phone going dead as he hung up on me. So there was an interview that didn't happen that probably was a good idea. So there you go. Have we done 6 yet? For God's sakes.
One more.
Bob, you see what I did? This is what I have. I'm drinking wine.
Well, that's what you need. What kind of wine is that? Whose wine is that, Ada?
Okay.
Ada girl.
Yes, it's Tragically Hip by Stony Ridge, from Stony Ridge. So
you're a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Friday, I'll get you the rosé too.
Okay.
Amazing. I want one too.
New Hip rosé comes out this Friday.
It's going to be Tragically Hip rosé, correct?
Yeah, it's a Tragically Hip rosé. I've tried it. It's delicious. It'll be available directly from the winery starting Friday and in the LCBO end of May.
Bob, you know that we know where you live, huh?
Yes, I know. And that's why I keep a stash in my garage in case you two lushes come over and start drinking me out of house and home.
Oops.
I know. All right, one more.
Choose one last one.
Well, I'm talking to two of you, so two.
Number two. Oh, I think you need a glass of wine right now. You that question.
How about a bottle? I only have bottles in here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I hope you can answer. What's your opinion on the firing of Don Cherry from the coach's corner? Talk to us.
Well, I'm more concerned about the firing of me from television and less concerned about Cherry, but nonetheless. Look, Don has lived his entire career on the edge. Mm-hmm. He says things that are controversial. He probably says a fair few things that he wishes after the fact he hadn't said.
Okay.
And he got himself into that dilemma this time, where he insulted New Canadians.
Right.
And I'm quite sure that Sportsnet and Rogers considered their options very carefully and decided that either Don was going to make a public apology or they were going to cut him loose. So I am told that on the day, or either one day or 2 days after the show aired, where he made those comments, they went back to him and said, you have to apologize on air. He declined to do that. And they, I guess, felt they were left with no choice but to cut him loose. So I know that Don regrets it. He regrets being fired. I mean, I don't know that he regrets what he said,
Right.
but he thinks he was miscast. He thinks he was misunderstood. He says he didn't mean what everybody who heard him believes he meant. But we'll never know that for sure. Only Don knows the answer to that. But he had a nice long run. Don's in his mid-80s. He won't be forgotten. He's still doing a podcast, I think, so people that want to connect with him still can. So he may be gone from mainstream television. Many of us are, but not forgotten.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyhow, you know what, Bob? Media are changing anyway, so you know what? It's okay. Maybe podcast is the way to go today. Never know.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know if that's true.
Well, I pulled the last info from you, but you're not going to say, I know. Oh my gosh, Bob. So you completed 6 questions. So we raised $600 in like
Yay. Very good.
5 minutes. So
Congratulations to us.
Absolutely. Thank you for answering all questions. And I can't wait for the rosé.
Yes.
Did you say this right?
Angelika's feeling a little chilly. She put her jacket on, I see.
I did.
Cold in the house, is it?
You know what? It's like, a little bit.
Or is this a fashion statement? Tell the truth.
What do you
A little of both?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much one more time. I want to thank our great sponsor, CanadaLand.com. Guys, you are amazing. Bella is very happy as well.
Goodbye, Bella.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all for watching, and see you next week with another amazing guest. Bye, Bob.
Bye girls.
Thank you.